Thank you, Minister Perry. We still have two speakers for this session. And the first one is Minister Stephen Blaney, Minister of Public Safety and Emergency Preparedness in Canada. Mr. Blaney, please.
Merci beaucoup, docteur, pour cette belle invitation. Je suis extrêmement honoré d'être ici aujourd'hui comme Canadien en Israël, un pays absolument fascinant. It's a great honor for me to be here, and I just shook hands with Minister Perry, Minister of Science, Technology and Space, and also very impressed by one of the great statesmen of the world, Mr. Perez. Great to be here. Well, yeah, we like him too in Canada. As you may remember, Prime Minister Stephen Harper was here in last January, strongly reiterating the friendship between Canada and Israel. Well, this is a partner and a friendship that has been ongoing since 1948, a partnership that is built on the foundation of a common set of core values, principles, and interests, including democracy, free markets, security, peace, justice, human rights, and freedom. And as Mr. Perez has just said, a lot has changed since then, including tremendous advancements in science and technology. Our partnership has evolved and is still a great priority for our country. And now we have broadened this partnership through cybersecurity. No doubt the Internet presents both tremendous opportunities and serious challenges for all nations. And there is no question that our increasing dependence on technology comes with real risk to our citizens, to our economies, to our corporation, to the government itself, to our very security. That is why Canada has placed cybersecurity at the forefront of our efforts to safeguard our country's security and economic prosperity, and for good reason, given the threat we face. In Canada, there are big numbers. 7 million Canadians fell victim to cybercrime in 2012, costing the economy $3 billion. Every day, millions of scans are taking place to probe Government of Canada infrastructure for vulnerabilities, and state-sponsored actors continue to target our aerospace, telecommunication, and natural resources industry. One of the biggest challenges with cybercrime is the fact that it is with everyone's grasp. Put another way, cyber attacks can come from anyone and anywhere, individual, organized crime groups, or nation, as it's been said before. In Canada, we had the Heartbleed bug affected many global IT systems in both private and public sector organizations. In response, we took precautionary measures and directed all of our federal government departments to disable public websites that were running the vulnerable software. Despite these efforts, a lone hacker, a Canadian, a teenager, took advantage of these vulnerabilities, and the Canada Revenue Agency was directly impacted by a malicious breach of taxpayer data. But thanks to the great work of Canadian people, department, and security partners, the agency was able to contain the infiltration, and the person believed to be responsible was apprehended and charged. And we continue to discover incidents of state-sponsored cyber attacks. This summer, through the work of the Communication Security Establishment and Shared Services Canada, the Government of Canada detected and confirmed a cyber intrusion of the IT infrastructure of the National Research Council. This is our Canada's premier organization for research and development by a highly sophisticated state-sponsored actor. This type of attack clearly represents a threat to both our country's security and economic well-being. Fortunately, we were able to identify and contain the problem and are taking steps to help minimize the chances of it happening again. These events demonstrate that while we do have robust systems and tools in place to monitor, detect, and investigate potential threats, we must be prepared to take immediate action and neutralize it. Indeed, how we handle a compromise is as important as the defenses in place. We're not alone. We, like many of our allies, continue to face the reality that cyber attackers are looking to disrupt our critical infrastructure. And because digital networks underpin critical infrastructure, threats to one are threats to the other. Without a doubt, keeping our cyber network secure is one of the most important issues our government is facing. And given the borderless nature of the threat, we must work together. That's why we put in place the Canada Cyber Security Strategy and our National Strategy and Action Plan for Critical Infrastructure, building the infrastructure within the government, help working and reaching out with our companies and CEOs that are tackling with these challenges every day. The three pillars are fairly simple: securing our own government networks, strengthening partnerships across diverse sectors and government, and the citizen, increasing public awareness about how to stay safe online. In each of these areas, collaboration is the starting, and we're making progress. Outside the government, we have our Canadian Cyber Incident Response Centre, or CSIRC. This centre is mandated to help our partner, the provinces, territories, municipalities, and private sector organizations to secure their network. We have a 24/7 cyber incident response and recovery team at Shared Service Canada, and we launched a national cyber threat notification system which notified 14 million Canadian IP address owners of potential compromises in 2013. Public Safety has established a national cross-sector forum which brings together representatives from our critical infrastructure sectors to set priorities for public-private sector collaboration. And also we work with the individual. We have our Get Cyber Safe. I even go and meet with the class, telling the kids not to share a picture, intimate picture, and also something that always show respect. When you're on the internet, you know, if the person is in front of you, if you were not to tell that thing to that person, maybe you should not write it. Of course, you may say we're far from cyber attacks, but that's part of this new area in which we're living, which is the internet. We are also reaching out to young people through this Stop Hating Online campaign, a national anti-cyberbullying initiative that focuses on the social impacts and potential legal consequences of cyberbullying. We're working with our friends from the United States with the Stop, Think, Connect strategies that involves the private sector's company, non-profit organization, and the government itself. Yes, cybersecurity is no exception. We work with our friend and ally, our fellow American, with the Beyond the Border Action Plan. I've met some counterpart here this morning. And we've had an historic agreement between our two countries on trade and security. We are moving forward together to secure as well our cyber networks. But this international cooperation goes far beyond. Of course, we work with NATO, with the European Union, and other forums with like-minded allies to collectively strengthen the resilience of global critical infrastructure. We're proud of a discussion. We know that by working together, we will face those challenges. As many of you may know, Canada and Israel have already signed a memorandum of understanding that covers a number of strategic areas, including cybersecurity. We are working to strengthen the cybersecurity of both nations through collaboration and learn from the experience of CERTGov in Israel, as well as our CSIRC here in Canada. This includes a recent visit by delegates from Israel's National Cyber Bureau to Canada to explore opportunities for additional bilateral cooperation. Ultimately, our success will rest on more effective information sharing and deepened relationships with all of our partners and with the private sector in particular. In closing, I think Minister Perry said it right. As government, we have the responsibility to protect our citizens, to protect our organization, our companies, and the government itself from cyber attack on the cyber world. And together, we can work together to make our country safer in a world that is fragile and evolving. Thank you very much. Merci.